Hey guys, Jen here. What a day. Had to endure making homemade ice cream with my kids today. So, today is round 9, VLCD4. I started at 198 pounds on the dot, and this morning I was 189.8. So I've already lost 8.2 pounds. And I'm in the 180s again. It hasn't really been that long. It was very shortly before I loaded that I was still in the 180s, so anyway, yay, right? New decade. So, a little hungrier this morning. My hunger has been quite minimal up until this morning. It was manageable, but it was there. So I expect it to go away tomorrow. That's good. Tonight was pretty good. Today I ate leftover grilled chicken nuggets with Canadian seasoning, sugar-free, and a sliced cucumber. I have to say, cucumbers taste sweeter when you haven't been eating sweet things. So that was interesting. Or maybe it was just a particularly good cucumber, I don't know. And for supper, I had that Oscar Mayer 2/3 less fat sausage, the kind that's 90 calories for 2 ounces, and sauerkraut and mustard and celery seed on top. And that's it. That's all I had today. So I wanted to tell you all one quick thing before moving on tonight. When it comes to low-carb cake, P3 friendly cake, one that doesn't use a lot of weird ingredients. I have to say, some of the best baking mixes use some things that can only be found online, at least where I live, and I live in a major city, so I'll talk about that another night. But this one uses, you pretty much can find this stuff now. There's only 2 ingredients that are even questionable. One is almond flour, which is pretty readily available now, even though it costs more at Walmart than it does at online where I get it. And I can get better, finer ground almond flour online than I can at Walmart. But the kind at Walmart works just fine for this recipe. And whatever sweetener you use, whether you use something you can get at Walmart, or you use Swerve, which is harder to find, or if you want to make the frosting, however, it takes powdered erythritol. But you could buy the spoonable Truvia and grind it up in your magic bowl or something. I have done that before, but it is a little bit sweeter than powdered erythritol that you buy, because Truvia is erythritol plus stevia, so it's a little bit sweeter, but it is doable. So just wanted to tell you, I will put the link below. It's called Chicken Lady's Carrot Cake. Very good. And I modified a little bit because I like pineapple in my carrot cake, and I guess technically in P3 you could have pineapple, but I don't do it. I don't do any more fruit than I do in P2. So I go ahead and add a half a cup of the sugar-free pineapple Da Vinci syrup. And then because I added more liquid, and because I like coconut, I add a cup of unsweetened shredded coconut, and then a tablespoon of coconut flour. You probably wouldn't have to do the coconut flour if you don't already own it. It's just to thicken it up. You could probably just bake it longer, or maybe even add another egg. Eggs thicken things up. Anyway, and when she says 1/4 of a cup of oil, I use virgin coconut oil just because it lends that coconut flavor to the finished cake. So, for the sweetener, I used a Splenda Quick Pack, which they don't make anymore, but I still have. But you could use a cup of regular Splenda and a cup of erythritol, which, like I said, you could probably make do with a half to 3/4 of a cup of Splenda and a cup of Truvia. That would work. Her frosting, I like my frosting. I make a bigger batch than she makes and slightly different. I'm sure hers is good though, because people have remarked over this recipe over and over again. But this is what I make in case you want to see the difference between what I make and her original. I use 3/4 of a stick of butter softened, 12 ounces of cream cheese softened, 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. The sweeteners I use are 15 drops of Easy Sweets and 1½ cups of powdered erythritol. You could use all Truvia again. I add a pinch of salt because it brings out the sweetness. 1 tablespoon of the sugar-free pineapple Da Vinci syrup. 1 tablespoon of orange Da Vinci pineapple syrup. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I use the Penzeys China cinnamon. And a little bit of guar gum if it needs thickening. If it's too thin, you can always add more cream cheese and sweetener until it thickens up, or use less syrup if you don't have guar gum. Probably even a pinch of cornstarch, but not in P3 because technically that's a starch. Even though it'd still be low carb, it's technically a starch. So, marvelous, marvelous cake. And it makes a big 9 by 11, it makes like 16, 20 servings. So I always freeze it. What we don't eat within 2 days, I cut it in squares and individually wrap them and freeze them. Don't eat it frozen though. Some things are great right out of the freezer. This needs to be thawed. So, anyway, I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.